And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Killer Author Club. We're here with the one and only Chandler Baker, whose book, The Whisper Network, was a Reese's book club pick. And she's here tonight to talk about her new thriller, Cutting Teeth. It was so good. You guys have to read it. We have tons to talk about, so grab your cocktail, your list of questions for Chandler, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done. Left me at
Hi again, everybody. I'm founding member Killer Kara Ruda, along with Killer Heather Gutenkopf and Killer Kimberly Bell. And we're so excited to welcome Killer Chandler Baker into the clubhouse tonight. Hello, Chandler.
Hi, thank you guys for having me.
We're so excited to have you. And as you guys know, we have so many fun guests coming so that readers like you can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the business, like Chandler and like Sarah Pekkanen, Breda McFadden, viral TikTok sensation Lloyd, Deborah Richards, Angie Kim, Vanessa Lilly, and so many more. Dates, times, and everything can be found on all of our social medias and on killerauthorclub.com, our website. But tonight we're here with Chandler to talk about Killing of the adorable 4-year-old fictional kind, of course. So make sure to drop your questions in the comments, and though we can't get to all of them, we'll be choosing some to ask our killer guest. And if you're watching this on Facebook or have a Facebook account, check out our public group, Killer Author Club. And if you're a really hardcore killer, you know you have to join the Killer Author Clubhouse, where we host our book clubs. And next up, October 17th, we've got Christina McDonald and These Still Black Waters. And again, that happens only in the clubhouse, so you have to be a member. So, all right, we also have a YouTube channel, and I forgot to check how many thousands we're up to, but join there too. And you can stream us to your big screen TV, and you can find us all wasting too much time on all of the social media places that we're all hanging out and spending too much time. And our website, though, has best information, killerauthorclub.com. So without further ado, Kimberly, will you please introduce our killer guest?
I would love to. So Chandler Baker is the New York Times bestselling author of Whisper Network, a Reese's book club pick, as well as the Good Morning America book club selection, The Husbands. A former corporate lawyer, she lives in Austin, Texas. I hear it's a little warm there. With her husband, 2 small children, and even smaller dog. Cutting Teeth is her 3rd novel for adults. All right, Chandler, would you give us the elevator pitch? Tell us a little bit about what Cutting Teeth is about, because yowza.
Yeah, so Cutting Teeth, it follows 3 mothers, Darby, Rhea, and Mary Beth, and they're each sort of on these personal quests to reclaim aspects of their identity that have been subsumed by motherhood. So for one, it's career, for one, it's her body, for another, it's her sex life. But their plans are kind of upended when their children, who all attend the preschool Little Academy, develop this really unsettling medical condition where they crave blood. And they've all sort of got different strategies of how to deal with these cravings. But then their preschool teacher, their children's preschool teacher, is found murdered just feet away from the classroom. And the only witnesses and eventually suspects are the 10 sort of adorable 4-year-olds.
It was crazy, and I have a ton of questions. But for now, let's settle in for the killer cocktail of this episode.
Yes, the killers love their cocktails. So tell us, Chandler, you chose the Blood Red Sangria as your special cocktail. Can you tell us why? What you love about this?
I love a good sangria in the summer. I think it's delicious and refreshing. I was like super in for this book on anything like blood red, blood orange Pellegrino. Like I was into it all. I totally just went for it on the theme stuff of this book. Originally, my publisher was like, oh, maybe we'll kind of like bury the lead on the vampires. And then we all just decided like in the middle, no, we're doing all the vampire puns. Like we are going for it. So Blood Red Sangria, it was.
Perfect. Well, congratulations on another amazing book. This one was
Thank
just so much fun, and we're going to really get into it. But cheers and congratulations.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So Neil's, quick question from the comment section. Is it paranormal? And someone else said, I'd like to know. So let's handle that one first.
That's such a good question. I feel, and you guys can disagree, like I think it's very, very grounded. It feels kind of just like Big Little Lies, but these kids have like
Yes.
clinical vampirism, I would say.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's speculative, perhaps, but
It's
no,
fiction, but it's not paranormal.
fiction, no.
Yes, it's very grounded in the real world.
Yeah.
With just a little bloodletting here and there.
I mean, I love paranormal. I love paranormal, but yes, agreed.
Okay, you guys. So a little bit more about Cutting Teeth. It is described as jaw-dropping, a darkly comic send-up of motherhood by people. Ashley Audrian of the New York Times bestselling author of The Push said, with devourable writing and pitch-perfect humor, Cutting Teeth is a sharp, original, wickedly astute look at the sting of modern motherhood. Booklist said, complex and gripping, dark secrets, retribution, and the lengths a mother will go to protect her child, all featured in this twisted, disturbing story that will keep readers off balance from beginning to end. So, Chandler, our first and most important question is the killer question of the day, and it is, when do you kill?
Oh my gosh, can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
You bet.
What does that mean? What
So it can mean anything you want to. It's kind of our signature.
is it like when you slay? Like, what are you good at? Like, is that the?
No, it's actually about killing. It really is. So it could be the fictional kind or the, if you don't want to talk about killing in real life, you're probably not a good idea here. But really, we've had every kind of answer from where authors like to write when they're killing or where you actually like.
Okay.
So all that kind of stuff. So kind of just, just about killing of the fictional kind.
Right, of course. Okay, when do I kill? I mean, I think I do my best killing at this coffee shop called Coffee Shark, which I feel like also feels very fitting for this book. So Coffee Shark is the place where I do my best murdering, like when I'm just, around happy, sunshiny, caffeinated people, and I have really great access to Google to figure out all the ways to kill.
That's a perfect answer. And so would that be morning killing, afternoon killing, all times of the day killing?
Right. I love morning killing. Like that's my favorite is to kill in the morning, but the day it doesn't always work out that way because my baby vampires are nuts. So sometimes there has to be some afternoon killing.
Right. I get it. That's a perfect answer. I love it very much. So thank you. All right. And so now we'll go back to the book questions.
Okay.
Okay. So where did the idea come from for this book?
Gosh, I feel like often I find that my ideas like subconsciously were sort of seeded in my last book. So my last book was The Husbands, which was about kind of like women dealing with like the mental load in their domestic partnerships. And there's this line in that book that the protagonist, Nora, is thinking about how sometimes it would be like easier rather than like making more time and adding more responsibilities onto her plate for her family. She would just rather let them like cannibalize her, like take a bite of her shoulder or a thigh. And I wrote that line and I had like, it wasn't like I was thinking about this, but it's funny now to kind of look back and be like, oh, I was already turning over these themes in my head. But I mean, I remember the exact place that I was when I came up with the idea. I was in Florida. It was our first post-COVID, like family vacation. My kids are 4.5 years apart. So my son turned 1 on that trip. And he was like the perfect combination of mobile and immune to all reason. Like I don't think I had one like full conversation the entire time I was there. I was just like keeping him from falling into various pools the entire time. And it was such a drain. Like it felt like the independence I was getting from my daughter being like in the 5s was just being like torn away from me. I was being dragged back into babyhood and toddlerdom by my hair. And I really felt like, what if kids were actual vampires? Like, what if I made this literal? So I had the idea, and then I swear I already had the idea, but during the course of writing it, as I started to write it, my son became the class fighter. And he just was like a shark in the water, like real life baby shark. He just went after everyone with impunity, and I was like, this is the book. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, is Renfield a thing? Renfield syndrome? Or is that totally fictional? Is there some of that couched in truth somewhere?
Yeah, I've been surprised how many people are like, this is real, because they're like, there is a Wikipedia entry for Renfield. It was actually a syndrome that was added to psychiatry books, I think in the 80s, like as somewhat of a gag. And so it's not real, and definitely not pediatric Renfields. I think there are some like clinical vampirism reports, but I think it's mostly like a fetish.
Not 4-year-old children.
Not 4-year-old children. But it doesn't feel too far removed from me. I don't know. Like, we all hear reports like pregnant women eat clay. Like, there's all these things that it just doesn't feel that far off base.
Right. Oh no, I thought, you explained it and laid the groundwork perfectly for it. Because like I said to myself, I'm not going to Google it. I'm going to ask Chandler because I really, feel like this could be a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was real.
Yeah.
I really,
you're like, it's real. Yes,
It's real.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
It was really kind of, I don't know if you guys remember this. There's no reason that you would, but I think like in the early 2000s, there was this group of girls in New York.
Yes.
I think it's referenced in the book maybe too, that developed a tic, and they couldn't figure out, nobody could ever figure out like what caused them to have this tic. Like, they did groundwater tests and an environmental test. They couldn't figure out if it was social and psychological. I don't know, that's been like one of my sort of pet Wikipedia rabbit holes for years now, going back and checking on these girls and seeing if they still have this tic, and a lot of them do. And it just felt like something could spread in that way, even younger.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
Crazy. I didn't stop to Google it, but I was like, could this be a real thing?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Someone here, and I'm looking for it back, was asking about the title, but I think I read in your acknowledgments that one of your friends came up with the title. Here it is. Where did you get the idea of book title?
Yeah, so it was called It Goes By So Fast for a really long time, because I said it was a novel about how it doesn't. And for a long time, we were kind of thinking we were going to really underplay the sort of medical syndrome of it, but then we all decided that we were having so much fun with it, we wanted to just go ahead and bring it into the forefront. And my friend came up with the idea of cutting teeth, and I just thought it was so smart and had so many.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
And then the cover just like nailed it.
I know.
It's just so great.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the bloody,
Yes, it feels more thrillery now, right? It feels more killer.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say my favorite part were the transcripts of the interviews with like the police detectives interviewing the kids, and like they said the craziest, funniest things, and random, and that's exactly how kids that age talk. It's hard to keep them in one line, but and it's also a constant reminder of the mystery of the novel, right? There's somebody dead, and they're trying to figure out who did it and what happened. So was that something that you planned going in? Was that something that came in later? Did you know that was going to happen?
The transcripts or the murder itself?
The transcripts.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that just really tickled me about the idea from the beginning was the idea that these 4-year-olds were going to be both witnesses and suspects, and that just it made me giggle. But I knew we didn't want to live in the kids' heads for too long, but I just felt like I wanted to hear from them. So the idea that they would be in these tiny little police interrogations was really funny because, they have not one clue. I mean, my kids have no idea about timeline, like yesterday, tomorrow. They are divulging things about their parents. Like, They're a hot mess. And yeah, they were really fun sort of break to write. So yeah, I did know from the beginning that I was going to use them.
They were awesome and some comic relief for sure.
Yes.
Right.
So Leanne asks, is this out now? Yes, it's been out since what, July?
Yeah, July 18th, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
So run and grab it today.
Yeah, and we'll be dropping some links in a little bit where you can pick up your copy.
And you talk about in the book, throughout the book, just different themes of motherhood and what it means to be the perfect mother and how these different moms are trying to be just that. Can you tell us more about why you chose to write about moms?
Yeah, I mean, so even though I think Cutting Teeth feels sort of like a step even more speculative than like The Husbands or Whisper Network, I really feel like I can trace sort of the lineage and the themes that I've been interested in covering. Like Whisper Network was about women in the workplace. The Husbands was about women in domestic partnerships. And for Cutting Teeth, I was really thinking about the expectations society puts on mothers, the ones we put on ourselves. And like that felt like a natural evolution to me. And, something I think a lot about as a mom. Like I think that none of us are probably as good of parents as we purport to be, and like nor as bad of parents as we often feel ourselves to be. And there's spots in the book where the mothers like confess sort of their worst parenting sins. I am a very confessional person. Like I would be a terrible real killer because I love like that is my love language. That's how I connect to people, is like making these small confessions, telling people things. And so obviously most of the confessions, the parenting sins are like my own, I don't bathe my kids enough. Like I've, not changed the sheets before, or like all that stuff, not as many vegetables. But I don't know, it felt very cathartic. It feels very cathartic to confess those things with my friends and then to tell everyone in a book.
Yes. And what I really struck me too was how literally the kids were like sucking their mothers dry. I mean, it's like we give everything. It's like, do you want my blood too? Come on, and just it really captured that. My kids are well grown by now, but you really brought me back to that time in my life when I had 3 kids under the age of 4, and we were busy.
Yeah. I think, one thing in the book is talking about, how so many jobs are like being replaced by AI right now, and so many people's jobs in danger, but the job of a parent is never in danger. Like we are non-fungible, like on call till we die. And you're just needed in like such a fundamental way.
And just the whole like being drained and then literally being drained was so good. And that's why it's so fun. It's like the perfect mixture of like suspense and mystery, but then the dark humor kind of makes it stay lighter, so you're not like horrified by what you're writing about, because it's really kind of horrific. So when you're writing, like, does that just kind of flow naturally, the humor part of it?
I think so. I think it's always funny to hear played back like what you've been thinking, or like when you feel alone in something and then you see someone sort of describe your own circumstance or something you thought that you only thought. So I just think that there's automatic humor in giving voice to some of those observations about parenting that seem really absurd. And I like writing those parts.
Yeah.
And you were so hard too, but you hit just the right tone. That's yeah. I love a thriller that can make me giggle.
Yeah, I know. It's like people fall into 2 camps, and I feel like your listeners are probably in the latter one that I'll describe, which people are like, oh, there's too much blood, or like, oh, there's not enough blood. And I feel like your listeners are probably like, we like the blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Are the killer author club.
Yes, we like all the blood, which is where I fall too. I'm like, more blood. Let's do all the blood.
All the blood. I know. And like your pre-order campaign when you had the like IVs of blood.
Yes.
Oh Oh my God.
And I made my kids drink out of them and my friends' kids.
I love that. That was great. Oh my God. So much blood, so little time.
So one of our Facebook users says, sounds like your next book, AI Replacing Parents.
I know,
There
right?
you go. There's your idea.
Okay.
So, and Angela wants to know, how long did it take you to write the book?
Man, I wrote the first draft pretty quickly, probably 6 to 8 weeks for the first draft. But I did really struggle. I mean, in the acknowledgments, I talk about kind of losing faith in the idea at one point because, I just had this very clear sense of what I wanted the book to be. And I will tell you, moving that murder up earlier and earlier in the book almost broke me. You guys are mystery thriller writers. Sometimes moving that plot up to start earlier and earlier it's just a beast. So I rewrote this thing so many times to get that murder earlier and earlier in the book.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've learned from my editor, like, start out with the bang. I'm like, murder on page 1. Here you go.
I know. I am totally with you and her. And it kind of does, I guess, in this book. But then,
It's sad though, because sometimes you don't want to give that away right away. And it just, but they want it sooner, at least like some kind of notion that it's happening sooner. Yeah, I agree. Like when I have my murders, I know where I want them and when.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. Like I'm a big thriller reader too. Like I love fast-paced thrillers as well. So,
Yeah. We have to move our murders up.
Yes, we've got to move the
that's a
murders up,
lesson.
and it's going to take a lot longer to move the murder up than to write the first draft.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Like
you go. Like
murder sooner
sooner
than later.
rather than-
There you go. See?
Yeah.
And I think, if
It's
you
worth
look
it.
at like the genre, a lot of these books, they hit the ground running. And so we kind of have to too with our books, whether that's what we have planned or not.
And readers are so savvy these days. I mean, all the readers are so onto us that we have to like make sure we're still captivating everyone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're thrillers, you get right into it. See?
Yeah. And here's another one. Don't read a thriller wondering
So when do you
something's
kill
gonna
is
happen.
right away.
Okay. Well, yes. When do you kill is instantly.
Instantly.
Yeah. That's the answer.
Yes.
It is
There you
the
go.
answer.
See?
Yeah.
We found it.
Now. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Lessons learned.
Yes.
So do you like to plot or do you like to just get in there and write?
Oh gosh, I aspire to plot, and I have yet to succeed. So I don't know. I'm a pantser. Like I just, you too. Really, I feel like I don't need a ton of like mystery thriller writers that.
I know it's
go
weird,
for it.
But I can't do it the other way. Like
Really?
these guys plot, or
Yeah.
these guys plot. Yeah, but I cannot. Yeah, I agree. It's
So, but did you know for this book example, did you know, because I mean, you have a lot of different characters and moving pieces, right? You have the kids, you have the parents, you have, did you know who the killer was going to be going in?
I knew half of it. If that makes sense. Yeah, I knew part of the answer, but I didn't know the whole answer. I kind of circled around it. I mean, like I had an idea of where I hoped to land, but no, it's just like a lot of rewriting. Sort of once I write it once for myself, then I start, re-engineering it. But I don't know. My critique partner who named my book, Cutting Teeth, always says that I am like very, very willing to murder everything, which I am. Like I will throw away any amount of writing. Like I will take it all down to the studs and build back up. So once I do know who did it, then I'm fine. Like just going back to square one and redoing it.
Do you actually rewrite it, like put everything away and then start a new document, or do you just fiddle in the one you got?
It depends. Like for the husbands, I wrote it and then I started from a blank page and just wrote it again. 10 out of 10 don't recommend.
No.
yeah, sounds really not fun.
Yeah, this I don't think I did that, but there was still a lot of like cultural.
That's the cancer's problem, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
Are you like that too, Carol?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because-
You got to redo it, right?
yeah. But then I've got all the characters are all formed. So then
Mhm.
no matter how many rounds of edits they have to endure, they have their own personalities. So but like I find like if I try to outline them, their personalities just go away. Like I can't explain who they are until I write it. And then once I write it, then they can get messed with. Not that I like it, but
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. I like the excitement. Like I feel that like buzzy excitement and I just want to start writing. Like I'll write, a few paragraphs for myself. Like I have the promise of what I want it to be and then writing it as I'm fulfilling it. But it never takes as long to write another draft as that first draft. The first draft
I
is
agree.
at least for me.
I agree. Yeah, because they're all in here and they're ready to talk.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. It's not as painful going
Right.
forward as trying to extricate it from truly nothing.
I agree.
From nothing to build it from nothing.
From nothing, from not even an outline.
Right. No outline.
So for all of you out there saying that you're dying to read this, Chandler is giving away 3 copies.
Yeah. Yay.
All you have to do to enter is answer this question about our guest, and we will choose a winner from all the correct answers. Bonus points for joining the Killer Author Clubhouse on Facebook or subscribing to our YouTube channel. And the question is, which one of Chandler's books was at Reese's book club pick?
I know this one.
I bet you do.
I bet they do too.
All right. And the Killers we love are independent booksellers, and we want to support them in any way we can. So that's why we partnered with bookshop.org, and we have our very own Killer Author Club store there on their website where you can find our books, our guest books from past, present, and future, as well as some really fun lists. So make sure that you go check that out. We will be dropping that link in the comments. But in the meantime, speaking of favorite indies, Chandler, you picked
Book People.
About Book People. Why is this store so special to you?
Oh my goodness. It is a huge independent bookstore in Austin. It's right in the heart of downtown. It's off 6th Street. They've got 2 like really beautiful floors. I don't know. It's just such a staple here in Austin. I feel like, even before I was a writer, it's a place that you went, and they have great programming and just a huge selection. So everyone should go in Austin, but they already do. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be dropping that link to the Book People into the comments, so you can order Cutting Teeth or any other books on your wish list. So make sure you patronize them. So here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Am I up?
Yes.
Is it me?
You're
It's me.
You're celebrating. Yes,
We have a celebration this week.
we do.
Thank you. What is
Heather's
that?
looking from the graphic. We have a celebration.
Oh,
Well, as much as we would love to invite every amazing killer on our show, we are only 3 of us, and there are so many fantastic books coming out, but we can't let this evening go by without celebrating another very special release, A Good Man by PJ. How do you say that?
McElveen, maybe?
I'm sorry if I just murdered your name. Released August 18th, so that was last week. Decades after a brutal childhood trauma, a famous novelist finds his life shattered once again in this unsettling psychological mystery thriller. And we will be dropping that link in the comments as well if you want to pick up a copy.
So congratulations.
good.
You guys, we also
Congratulations,
give away our killer swag every time we do this to members of the Killer Author Clubhouse. That's a private Facebook group. So it's worth it to join. We have t-shirts, mugs. I don't have any in my hand, but trust me, totes, hats. We have the whole thing, and they're all really cute, and they're at killerauthorclub.com. So tonight's winner from the Killer Author Clubhouse is Candace Cecilia. So please reach out to one of us and send us your address, and we'll send some killer author swag your way.
Yes, congrats.
Mhm.
And Chandler, we have some really good news for you.
Oh,
You
I'm ready.
survived the Killer Author Club.
Oh,
You
yay!
did.
Yay! Thank you for not killing me.
You did not get killed or bitten or stabbed. So thank you for being here. And we hope you will love your badge and print it out and wear it proudly.
Every day.
Yes, and tell people often when you kill, because that was a great answer. I liked it.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that does it for tonight's episode. So thanks to everyone who's tuned in, and thanks to Chandler for being here. We'll be back on October 17th, beginning at 8 Eastern. We have our next book club with Christina McDonald. We will be discussing These Still Black Waters, about which our very own Killer Kimberly Bell said, a whip-smart, completely unexpected story of a killer out for revenge. So this is not the book you think it is, and I mean that in the best possible way. So Kimberly, high praise from Kimberly. It's a great read. So make sure you pick that up and be ready for book club. And then remember, Killer Author Book Club is exclusive to the Killer Author Clubhouse, and there will be spoilers. So come join the club, and we'll add that link to the comments. And we also have a very special episode 2 weeks from now with the one and only, our very own Killer Kara Ruda, and her fantastic new release, Beneath the Surface. So that is right here on Tuesday, September 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Go ahead and pre-order her book right now, out September 5th. And don't forget, for full times, full schedule, past episodes, recipes, and merch, surf to killerauthorclub.com. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Night.
I guess I'm a killer through our love into